Good morning to everyone. We're here live with Gabi Natale from the closet on this very special day. Today is Wednesday, the 18th of November. How are you doing? How are you feeling? If this is the first time you're tuning in, hello, my name is Gabi Natale. We're tuning in every day at 9 a.m. Central Time to kind of start the day with the right foot, set our intentions, recalibrate our energy, and connect to each other. I believe I started doing this few months ago because many of us are in quarantine, and I feel there's such a big need, a big craving for connection. So I think this is a wonderful way to stay connected, stay in touch, driven, in mission, focused on what you want to do. So I welcome you if this is the first time that you are tuning in. I welcome you if this is not the first time that you're tuning in, and if you're here every day. As every day I am saying hello, this is a simulcast in different platforms. So good morning to everyone tuning in Facebook. Good morning to everyone on Instagram, on YouTube, on LinkedIn, on Twitch, on Twitter, Periscope. Good morning to everyone. This is the morning of a very important day. Last night, this is the morning after of a very important day. Last night I presented at the Emmys, and it's always such a wonderful, this is the first time that I presented at the Emmys. I am a 3-time Emmy Award winner. And this year, of course, there was no in-person ceremony. So I was very happy when the Academy reached out to ask me if I wanted to join and to present a category. The category that I presented, it's outstanding talent in daytime television in Spanish, which is a category I won 2 times in the past. And it was very crazy because we recorded everything from my studio, from the Super Latina studio, Hot Pink studio. I don't know if you've seen it. And there were 5 nominees, and we had to record 5 different endings because we didn't know who was going to win, and the Academy wants to keep it super secret. So I remember I recorded every one of those 5 endings with a lot of love, sending nice words and nice energy to all the nominees, because I knew that moment of somebody, these were all first time winners if they won. I knew that moment of listening to your name being announced and receiving your first Emmy, even if it is virtually, it's a moment that you don't forget any time in your life. So I wanted to make it extra special for them. And the person who won, if you are not from Mexico, well, he's known all across the US and in Latin America, but just to give you a heads up, his name is Eugenio Derbez. He's the most, I would say, an equivalent in Mexico to Adam Sandler. He is the most loved, the most popular, the most you fill in your blanks comedian in Mexico. And I've interviewed him many times, and he also is very beloved, of course, here in the United States. So today I thought about a couple of things that I could share from all these years that I have interviewed Eugenio Derbez, and how I know he conducted his career, the kind of things that I learned from behind the scenes, from seeing him, how he interacted with everybody and how he approached his career, and what are the things that I know from Eugenio that can help you to level up your own career, you to think about how to break barriers in your own way, because he broke so many barriers. And I'm going to talk to you about it in just a little bit, but just to give you an idea, he has the highest grossing movie in Mexico of all times, Instructions Not Included, and it's the highest grossing movie in Spanish in the United States of all time. So we're going to talk a little bit about his career, how we can learn about it, and I'm going to show you that special moment where we gave him where he received the Emmy. So let's read some of the moments. Lisbeth Ceballos, doing great. I saw you looked wonderful. Thank you so much, Lisbeth. You saw it. That's wonderful. Diana is saying, buenos días, Gaby. Feliz miércoles desde Casa Grande, Arizona. Buenos días. Good morning from La Plata. Congratulations. The Emmy present was fabulous. Thank you. Un besitos enorme, Cristina. Jay Flores, congratulations. Thank you so much. Catalina Witterson, good morning, Gaby. Diana Hoyos, hola, Gaby. Hola, mi amor. Next week, I have a gift from you. Next week, I'm going to show it. Teo de Rodríguez Salazar says, saludos hermosa. So perfect. So today we're going to talk about this idea of a couple of things that I have seen and I have learned from Eugenio Derbez interviews and also his career that you can apply to yours. So without further ado, like every day, we are going to start with the first 20 seconds opening credits. Live from the Closet with Gaby Natale starts like this. There has never been a better time to be a pioneer than right now. Diversity is beautiful! Thank you! Good morning, good morning, good morning to everyone who is joining us. Let me see, I have here, I want to show you the moment where Eugenio receives the Emmy, and then we're going to go to this very interesting concept that we have today, how we can learn from someone else's career, in this case Eugenio Derbez's career, to make the most for your own. So let me show you. I'm always feeling kind of well, it's seen, you can see it. Okay, so there we go. Let's hit play. Eugenio Derbez, LOL, last one laughing, Amazon Prime Video. Eugenio, felicidades, te lo mereces. Mi beso para ti.
¡Qué emoción! Bueno, primero que nada quiero agradecer a Amazon, obvio, a Jeff Bezos. Quiero agradecer también a James Salky, James Farrell, CJ Ju, Javier Almaceda, Edme Molbundo, Arturo Runner, Martín Leguizamo.
Bueno, ahí lo vieron, él sigue con su agradecimiento. You saw him, he continues with a acceptance speech and thanking everybody. But I thought it was very, very interesting to think about what we can learn from Eugenio's career. And by the way, felicidades, Eugenio. I was very happy to present that award. So, first thing that I want to tell you about Eugenio and the way he conducted his career is, first thing, even, you know what, I even have him, for my book, I chose only 7 interviews that were my favorite ones, and Eugenio's is one of them, because I learned so much from him. So here's the thing. One thing that caught my eye, and that's why I included him in the book, and that's why I've been following his career, is that he was someone who didn't allow other people to put him on a box. And that translates into many ways. One of the ways in which he fought really hard not to be put in a box was by being, believe it or not, by being Mexico's most popular comedian. When he wanted to do movies, movie directors thought he was too commercial. So he was not really considered for many roles or for many things because his image was so associated with commercial work. So what he did was he created his own opportunities. He started knocking on doors, and I'm going to tell you more about it. So how could he create opportunities for himself when people in his industry could not see him as sometimes a leading role or could not see him as doing the type of movies he wanted to do? So he started to think, if I keep knocking on these doors, I don't know what's going to happen. I have to create my own opportunities. And so the first realization that I think it's something that we can all learn from is that we shouldn't allow anyone to put us in a box, because only we know inside of us what we are capable of. And the fact that we have not done it before, the fact that we have not done, in his case, either movies before or certain type of characters before, doesn't mean that we cannot do it in the future. And it takes a lot of self-confidence and it takes a lot of perseverance, but absolutely do not allow anyone to put you in a box. The second one is use strategic, even unpaid work to get new skills or connections to advance your career. And here is something that I've done it in my own career, and that I've heard, and he told it to me in an interview, Eugenio, that when he was the star in Mexico, having a show in Televisa, which is the biggest TV channel and network in Mexico, during the weekends, he would take a plane and he would pay for his own plane and for his own hotel just to be a part of a off-Broadway production that was called Latinologues. And in that production, he told me he was not paid. He even had to pay for all his expenses. But the thing was that he was investing in his career. He was taking this unpaid job, to work in Latinologues, to have an experience, to build his resume, to build his skill sets here in the US, and to start working in productions in English, because he knew that unpaid work, that strategic unpaid work, even when he was such a big star. Imagine being a big star, somebody who cannot leave his house because everybody, he cannot walk in the street in Mexico. Everybody's gonna ask for an autograph, and he is so humble. He pays for his own air ticket. He pays for his own hotel fee, just to be able to step his foot on a Broadway production and be able to expand his skill set, learn from the best, and level up his career. So that is something that I think it's very interesting when you think about career moves that maybe you don't think about, or maybe you don't know. So the third one is how I saw him interacting with the press. The third one is that you're never too big to be humble and invest on relationships. When he did a movie that is called Instruction Not Included, which became the most successful movie in Mexico of all times and the most successful movie in Spanish in the United States of all times. And I interviewed him when he was part of that promotion, and I saw firsthand how he was working day and night. He was doing press not just in one city or two cities, he was doing press in multiple cities during a lot of weeks. And also something that caught my attention during those press days, I would say that almost no interview probably was turned down. That means that I've seen bloggers interview Eugenio, bloggers who maybe didn't have a big platform. I've seen influencers with only, few thousand or few hundred followers, and the way I feel this is important, that's why I feel it's so memorable. It's because sometimes you have people in the media industry that are not as important as Eugenio or that are not as big as Eugenio, and they would turn down interviews if you don't come from the big networks, or if you don't come from a humongous amount of following. And I've seen consistently with Eugenio the work ethic of promoting his products to anyone. If you were there, you had the camera, you asked for the interview, maybe you will get 5 minutes, maybe you will get 2 minutes, maybe you will get just a little bit, maybe you will get a picture, but you will get something. And then on the other side, Eugenio and his team were retweeting, sharing in their own Facebook, in their own social media, in their own in the movie's own social media, whatever all these people whatever all these people were doing to amplify his movie. So it was a reassurance for people who interacted with him that at the end of the day also you might have a chance to see yourself in the social media of the movie or in the social media of this particular comedian. So I believe this is a big takeaway, because sometimes people, as they get bigger titles, bigger jobs, bigger popularity, or whatever they get big, they feel that it's beneath themselves, beneath their title, beneath their job, beneath their status somehow, to have that work ethic. And I can tell you, I've interviewed people and I've met people who were the hot people of the moment or who were only starting, and I met people and interviewed people, and those are my favorite ones, the ones that are playing the long game, the ones that have been in the industry, whatever they do, for a long time. And those who have been in the industry for a long time, whatever they do, are the ones that really you can see the work ethic. You can see that they are more humble than maybe that somebody who is the hot person of the moment. And those are the people I learn from the most, because I believe that, you know, anything that you do, if you love it, you want to do it for the long run. You want to do it not for a day, not for a month, not to be the hot person in the moment. You want to do it for decades, and you want to build your foundations in a solid way. And that's why I want to share with you what I've seen and what I've heard from so many people that are spectacular, just like Eugenio. So let me read some of your comments. Let me see. Hola Gaby, says Ron Gregory. Hola Ron. Jorge Alfredo says, yay, y fue emocionante que tú presentaras ese premio, ya que tú sabes qué emoción se siente al ganar un Emmy. Yes, Jorge, thank you so much. Yeah, that's why I recorded all this, and the winner is, and I didn't know who the winner was, with a lot of love for each one of the nominees, because I knew that moment is a moment that it's going to stay with you forever. Ricky Flores, I have heard number 2 work well and also fail miserably. Okay, that's good. It depends in your industry, it depends in your position, it depends on the skills that you want. My attorney friend has been turned down from even working pro bono during this time. I also met a Marine who was told he was not hired but showed up Monday, and the other candidate not showed. Yes, I feel being prepared is very important, having that work ethic. And when I wrote that tip, I emphasized the word strategic, because in the case of Eugenio, because that's the example, in the case of Eugenio, he didn't took just any work pro bono. He took work pro bono that would open doors to a new market, the American market, that will give him skills that he didn't have, or will give him an experience that he didn't have. He was a star, but a star who would always perform in Spanish. So what he did, he was investing and doing pro bono work to gain skills and experiences, connections and exposure that he didn't have. So I believe that it's true. For some people might not be a good idea to take pro bono work. For some people it would. I think the key thing here, and it depends in your career and it depends on your financial situation, it depends on so many things, but I feel the key thing here is that what are you getting that it's not money out of this experience? Are you getting skills? Are you getting connections? Are you getting your foot on the door in a new market, in a new country? So those are all the variables that you have to think about when you are weighing your decision of taking some kind of pro bono work. And then Ricky said he was hired on the spot and eventually bought the owner out. Yeah, I love this story. I love this story. Thank you for sharing. I live for these underdog stories. I love these underdog stories. John Coop says, hi Gabby, thank you for also exemplifying performance, personifying point number 3. Thank you so much. Raid from Twitch says, interesting, thank you. Virginio Tony Sanchez, hola Gaby, number 3, on point. Saludos desde Houston. Saludos, Virginio. In Houston was when I did that interview where I saw Eugenio firsthand working so hard with all the bloggers, the influencers, and all kinds of people. LinkedIn users, felicidades y saludos. Lisbeth Ceballos, humility and passion will give you the perseverance to not give up. Absolutely. We need that passion, we need that perseverance, and I think by taking these calculated risks that will help you gain new skills, gain new abilities, gain new possibilities, that is going to give you also like the adrenaline that this is moving forward for you. Maybe not financially, like Eugenio, this was not a immediate financial step forward for him, but it gave him the tools to have a foundation to start a new chapter in his career that would, eventually open so many incredible doors for them. And sometimes I feel that so many people are focused only on the short-term gain without thinking you have to play the long game. Jacqueline Camacho Ruiz, Marketing PR, thank you for your beautiful message. Thank you so much. So let's go back to the different things. I have one more that I want to share with you from Eugenio's career, and that is always remember you are playing the long game. One of the reasons why I chose Eugenio's interview for my book, El Círculo Virtuoso, was that I was so impressed when he shared with me the story of this movie, Instructions Not Included, which became such a huge, huge hit. And I didn't know the backstory. And the backstory is that he was a big star in Mexico, and as I said, they were putting him on a box and they were pigeonholing him, and so many Mexican directors that are fantastic didn't see how he would fit in the movie industry and would see his commercial and acclaimed success on television as a disadvantage for him to be in a movie, which is something that I cannot even think about. I cannot even comprehend. But he knew inside of him that he was a multidimensional comedian and actor, and that he wanted those new opportunities. So what he did, little by little, is he created his own opportunity. He sat down little by little and he wrote down the story, the dialogues, the idea, the vision, and everything for what later became Instructions Not Included. And this movie was not one of those movies that everybody was thinking, hey, this is for sure going to be a hit. In fact, in Hollywood, it took a lot of people by surprise because it was a movie that was bilingual, because the main character, Eugenio Derbez, in the United States was not so well known. But it took him 12 years. 12 years, imagine, 12 years since the moment you write the script, the moment you create the dialogues, the moment you have the financials, because he had to go look for people or companies to finance that movie. Then he had to record it, and he was involved in everything. He wrote the story, he was the main actor, he went to look for the funds, he directed the movie, and then he was in the editing room picking the final scenes and the final cut. And then he went on to heavily promote this movie, which was such a hit. And that's why when you see the full story, like I've seen it, the full story of Eugenio, of breaking barriers, of facing, he said when he was acting in Broadway that he would have panic attacks, that his hands would shake because he was going to act in English, and it was such a big challenge for him because language was such a big barrier, and I can identify with that. It's not in our comfort zone if we're not native English speakers to go on a stage or do a live or do a TED Talk or whatever we have to do. But once you passed that fear, of whatever it is, letting people down or fear of ridicule or whatever fear you have, you realize that there's a world of possibilities on the other side. And when you're playing, and going back to number 4, when you're playing the long game and you know that what you're doing is something that you love, and you know you have everything it takes to to grow your talent, to grow your vision, then you can wait 12 years. 12 years, imagine, as it took him to get this movie done. But he did not wait for things to happen. You know, he was doing other projects and he was pushing this one. So my message for you today, maybe you are starting a company or a project or looking for a job and it's taking you 1 month, 1 year, 2 years, you're not seeing the results. So get inspiration from all these people who have been so hyper focused, hyper perseverant, that it takes longer sometimes than we think, and we have to adjust, we have to adapt, we have to keep pushing, we have to pause sometimes to go back on the field and go back on the ring and keep fighting. But don't be demoralized, because there's so many amazing things that sometimes take longer than we want, or longer than we believe. So that's number 4 for you today of the takeaways that we can have from Eugenio. Liliana Ospina says, felicidades. Thank you so much, Liliana. Virgilio says, who remembers? Just kidding. Catalina Williamson, I love the way he opened doors to himself. Absolutely. So let's do a quick recap for all of you who just joined. Last night, I presented an Emmy as Best Spanish Language Talent in Daytime Show, and the winner was Eugenio Derbez, which is the most famous comedian in Mexico. I've interviewed him many times, and so I created today 4 top things that we can take away from Eugenio's career that I have seen firsthand, and it can help you. First one, do not allow anyone to put you in a box. In the beginning, he had to create his own opportunities because he was not being considered, or at least seriously considered, as main actor in a movie, because he came from television and was considered too commercial. So he created his own opportunities. Second one, use strategic, even unpaid work to expand your skills or expand your connections. In his case, he was already a big star in Mexico, and he would take a plane that he would pay out of his own pocket, and he would pay for the hotel out of his own pocket every weekend. I think he did it like for 2 years or something like that, to be able to perform for free in Broadway in a show that was called Latino Loves. And he did it because he wanted to learn how to act in English, and he wanted to expand to a new experience, gain new skills, and start planting seeds in a new market. And what those seeds now grew so much. Third one, you're never too big to be humble. Always choose the high road. Always be humble. I've seen him do interviews with bloggers, influencers, or people who have so few followers, and he did it as if he was talking to the biggest media on the planet. Always be respectful of your audience. Always be respectful of the people in your industry. You're never too big to be humble. And now the fourth one is always remember you're playing the long game. His most successful movie took 12 years on the making. So those are some takeaways that we can have for today, to be inspired by Eugenio. Lisbeth Ceballos says, I always tell others, be persistent, be positive, be passionate, be enough, eres suficiente. And on that high note, people, we are ending with today's live. It's almost 30 minutes. I went a little bit over, but I just have such a great time with you. I love connecting every morning, and I fill my days with positivity with this segment that we do together, because I'm here, but you are over there sharing your own tips, your own best practices, your own stories. So as I always tell you every day at the end, remember that when you open yourself up to the world opens itself up to you. Make the most out of your day. Tú sí lo puedes hacer. You can do it. You are enough, as Lisbeth told us. Les mando un besito and see you tomorrow. Los quiero mucho. Besos.